Hi everyone, and welcome to another video as part of the video series on heart failure as part of the Kearney Cardiology Clinic channel. Today we will be talking about tracking heart health and specifically heart failure. To begin, what is CHF or congestive heart failure? In general, congestive heart failure, also called heart failure, is a serious condition in which the heart doesn't pump blood as efficiently as it should. It means that the heart muscle has become less able to contract over time or has a mechanical problem that limits its ability to fill with blood. As a result, it can't keep up with the body's demand, and the blood returns to the heart faster than it can be pumped out. It becomes congested or backed up. This pumping problem means that not enough oxygen-rich blood can get to the body's other organs, and this can lead to the structural changes in heart failure. For more information, I highly recommend checking out other videos in the series that go into more detail about CHF progression and its pathology. Something important to note about CHF is also that it's an insidious syndrome, and what this means is that heart failure begins before you see the first signs and symptoms of it. This is a graph here that shows the lead up to heart failure onset, and there are four main stages of HF, where in stage A, you are at high risk for heart failure, but have not yet had structural heart disease or any symptoms. In stage B, structural heart disease begins to onset, but there are no signs and symptoms are present. In stage C, the heart disease is exacerbated, which means it gets worse, and you begin to see signs and symptoms appear. In stage D, the final stage, you now begin to have refractory heart failure, and you need special interventions. As the stages go on, your symptoms worsen, and the chances you have of being able to prevent heart failure decreases. Past stages A and B, heart failure can no longer be prevented, but rather we're trying to treat heart failure progression. And so it's really important that we recognize HF signs while we still can, prevent its onset, and prevent it with good lifestyle habits. Heart failure is also exponential, and decline can happen quickly and suddenly. This is why it is very important to recognize it well in advance of stage C, where signs and symptoms appear and get worse. We often think of a heart doctor as someone who can treat the heart, but here at the clinic, we want to prevent it from getting to the stage of heart failure, and being proactive is the key. This is why we need to talk about methods that we can actually track our heart health. And the first way that you can really track your heart health is with this scale called the H2FPEF scale, which essentially works like a questionnaire. The H2FPEF scale can usually only be filled out by going to your physician, but there are certain aspects of the scoring system that you can monitor yourself. How this scale works is for certain clinical variables like heavy or hypertensive, there are values like body mass index of over 30 that you can then assign points for. You do this for each clinical variable, and then you sum the total points that you have, and if you meet these values and these conditions, you add your score and sum them together. Once you have a certain amount of points, you can then corroborate the story that you have with the likelihood that you have congestive heart failure. As you can see, with heavy and hypertensive as well as elder, these are things that you can track at home. So if you can track your body mass index and calculate this through online calculators, and you should track your medications list and know that you have 2 or more antihypertensive medicine. As well, you should know your age as well. So this will at least give you 4 points that you can track yourself, and you can monitor your probability of getting heart failure here as well. I also wanted to mention another test that you could do at home called the 6-minute walk test, where you put 2 objects 30 meters away from each other and then walk to and from each object. You measure the distance you travel, and the further that you've traveled, the better your aerobic fitness is. It's a really easy way to benchmark yourself in your aerobic fitness, and it has been shown to be associated with CHF. So the better that you do on the 6-minute walk test, you know that you are not as much at risk for CHF. However, one of the best methods to track your heart health is with the KCCQ. The KCCQ stands for the Kansas City Cardiomyopathy Questionnaire, and it's a questionnaire that can be self-administered, which means you can do it at home. It was published in the year 2000 and has become one of the most prominent tools to evaluate heart failure status. The questionnaire is used to assign a score or a number to any symptom that you experience. So, for example, the score might assign a score to something like how much your shortness of breath has limited you in the past week. The questionnaire will then combine these scores together from each question they ask and give you a result from 1 to 100. If you score from 0 to 25, your heart health is very poor to poor, 25 to 50 is poor to fair, 50 to 75 is fair to good, and 75 plus is good to excellent. You should be monitoring your KCCQ score, and if you see decreases, then you should contact Dr. Kearney or your cardiologist. I want to actually present a tool that we created here at the clinic that allows you to calculate your KCCQ score online using an app called Google Sheets, and you can also download this and use it on Excel. We have an entire webinar on this that you can go watch on our YouTube channel as well. Okay, so clicking on that link on the slide that we just had previously, it brings you to this page here. So this is Google Sheets, and you can see this is a kind of like an Excel-like spreadsheet format. And we actually have our calculator template here. So in order to actually access this, we'll have the link to this calculator in our description, video description. And this is just essentially, you can see that in this light orange box, you can see there are various questions, and then there's a scale that you can rate yourself here. And if you feel like, this is, I felt slightly limited, then I can put a 1, and I can put a 1 for, all of these different activities as well. And once you fill out this actual questionnaire, at the very bottom here, it'll give you a score. And this here is your total KCCQ score. So remember, it goes from 0 to 100. So a score of 48 is around kind of like in the middling range. This is an example that's already been completed of a perfect score. So you can see that this person had already filled out all of their questionnaire here and put 1s in all the spots that they thought would apply to them, answering the questions, and they actually found that their total score was 100. Something else you can also do with this questionnaire is track your score. And what this means is here you can have an example entry, and then this is, for example, the first entry, and then you have the date that you have performed the score on, and then you can actually see your KCCQ score. And it's very important to track your score because, again, we want to monitor any decreases. So if I go from 100 to, let's say, 95, that might be a cause for concern, especially if it's within a short time frame, which means that your heart health might be deteriorating really quickly, and you might be progressing from that stage B, potentially into that stage C, where you will begin to see symptoms. So this is something that we want to monitor. So a lot of these sheets here, you can see this lock is here on them. And what you want to do is actually, you can go here and file, and you can make a copy. So you can press make a copy, and it'll show up here, and then it'll actually make a copy to your drive. So as you can see, I'm logged in here with my Google account. And if you don't have a Google account, you can follow the steps to make your Google account and then access this document, copy it to my drive, and then you'll have a copy here that you'll be able to access yourself. And this can be one personal copy for you. And the reason why we have locks on this is just so that not every patient uses our template and can actually make a copy of their calculator on their own Google Drive, or actually on their own personal machine, so that they can complete their own personal questionnaire. Something else they can do is, if you're more comfortable working with Excel, you can press download and download it as an Excel document, and you can work on it there yourself as well. Everything should be the same, and the tracking system should not change in the slightest. Okay, I hope that little tutorial on our online calculator helped you, and you can maybe use that tool to actually calculate your own KCCQ score. However, if you're not very familiar with technology, that's totally fine. You can come into the clinic, and Dr. Kernu can give you a form here that you can fill out by paper. And this, as you can see here, this is Dr. Kernu's KCCQ score, where he actually scored 100 out of 100. And part of why he scores 100 out of 100 is because exercise can actually really improve your KCCQ score. And there are a lot of really great resources that you can use to access exercise tips and tricks, and just in general, learn how to stay healthy. There are many resources that you can find online, and a really great reputable source is Dr. Kernu's own content, which we can find here on YouTube. We have videos on chair exercises, 15-minute workouts, warm-ups and cool-downs, before and after workouts, and even motivational videos on jumping back into exercise. There's also a lot of follow-along home workout videos that are perfect for individuals that really can't get to a gym. You can go on YouTube and just also search up beginner follow-along home workouts, and there are a lot of different options. An app that's also very good for calisthenics, if you're inclined to use apps, is something called Freeletics, which has many follow-along workouts for people at varying levels. If you're more into running, or if you're more into walking, you can always check out Strava, and Strava actually allows you to set daily goals as well as track the amount that you walk or run every day. So with that, I hope you consider taking more exercise habits to try and improve your KCCQ score, and also trying to work in the KCCQ score as something part of your life, as a routine to kind of monitor your heart health and prevent against heart failure. Thank you for listening, and we hope you have a good rest of your day.